The solitude of the path is the stage at which the being realizes that the journey cannot be shared in its deepest dimension. Others may accompany the being for certain stretches, offer support or inspiration, but the core of the journey, that point where consciousness folds back upon itself, is always solitary. This solitude is not a punishment, but a condition. It is the necessary space in which the rare is formed. Solitude arises when the being steps away from the crowd, not out of rejection, but out of the need for expansion. The being realizes that certain questions find no echo, that certain inquietudes cannot be explained, and that certain inner movements do not fit within ordinary conversations. The solitude of the path is the silence in which consciousness hears itself for the first time. Yet this silence is not empty. It is fertile. Within it, the being confronts its shadows, revisits its beliefs, and questions its own limits. Solitude functions as a mirror that does not distort, but simply reveals what is, without ornament. It is in this mirror that the rare learns to recognize its own depth, its own direction, and its own worth. Yet solitude also carries risks. It can turn into isolation, weariness, and doubt. The being feels the distance between itself and the crowd, and at times fears that it has gone too far. The journey requires the being to learn the difference between necessary solitude and destructive solitude. The former strengthens, the latter weakens. The rare must cultivate discernment so as not to become lost in the very silence that shapes it. Even so, it is in solitude that metamorphosis takes place. It is there that the initial impulse becomes a journey, the journey becomes consciousness, and consciousness becomes rarity. The solitude of the path is the laboratory of the soul. It is the place where the being is refined, reorganized, and becomes capable of bearing the weight that will balance the collective scale. When the rare finally emerges from this solitude, it does not return unchanged. It returns to the collective with a lucidity that cannot be taught, only earned. The solitude of the path, therefore, is not a permanent withdrawal, but a preparation. It is the necessary interval through which the being becomes what the world needs, even if the world does not yet know it.